It's fall in northern Colorado, and orange is the new black. I want to tell you a little bit about the history of oranges, orange, and carrots, to give you another angle on orange. Let me start with carrots. Carrots originally came from Afghanistan, where they were wild, and they came in many colors. Actually, wild carrots have white roots and purple roots and yellow roots and orange roots. And they were little nasty little things that smelled kind of good, but were nothing like the big carrot we eat today. And the Afghanistanis made them domesticated, so they got better. And they were spread all over Middle East and Europe, so that people were using them. But those carrots were not our modern carrots. Those carrots were used like we use a bay leaf or garlic. They were a flavoring you put in. They might be medicinal. Everybody agrees that the carrot that we have today was domesticated in Holland about the year 1600. They went from these thin little carrots to a big fat carrot. One of those early varieties was called long. And those carrots were orange. Of all the choices they could have made, they chose orange. And I want to explain that we all wanted disavow. Nobody really knows who those guys were. But let me tell you about the environment and the time and what we suspect about orange as the color for carrots. Europe did not have oranges at all. Oranges are a fruit that came from the Orient and came into Europe through India, through the Muslims, and in the 1400s and 1500s there was a Muslim presence in southern Spain, and it's warm enough in Spain that you can grow oranges. And so they were growing oranges. And in 1492, Ferdinand and Isabella threw out the last of the Moors, expelling them from Spain, and they took over the orange groves and everything else that the Muslims had been growing. And no longer fighting a big war in Spain, they could turn to the rest of Europe and sell their goods, which included oranges. So the first time that, say, the Englishmen saw oranges was shortly after 1492, because trade shifted. And if you look in the Oxford English Dictionary, there's no history of the word orange in English before about 1500, 1525. That's the first time anybody wrote the word orange down. And they were talking about the fruit. At that time, there was no color orange. Apparently, they said red-brown or rust-colored or yellowish red. They didn't say orange, because the first record in the Oxford English Dictionary of anybody saying, this is orange-colored, this is the color of an orange, was about 1550, well after oranges came into England. And similar pattern can be seen in Holland, can be seen in Germany, can be seen in Scandinavia. The Spaniards were trading oranges into Europe, and of course oranges are lovely. Everybody was happy to have them. But also happening in the 1500s was the Protestant Revolution. And at that time, Holland and Belgium were part of the Spanish Empire, and they embraced, like the Germans, Protestantism in a big way, which was fine until Philip II was sort of fine, until Philip II came on the throne. And he really thought that if you were a Protestant, you were a heretic, and the right thing for heretic is give up those views or die. And so his generals waged an ever hotter persecution of people in Holland and Belgium for their religious views, which they were, of course, less and less likely to give up. Enter William, Prince of Orange. Orange, in William's case, is a town in France whose name goes back to the Romans. It's spelled by the Romans as something like Orange, but by the time we get to 1500, he's spelling it O-R-A-N-J, even though, remember, in 1500, nobody had heard of an orange. So he's William, Prince of Orange. He was actually very tight with the kings of Spain. They all liked him, but they made him in charge of Holland. And the more he listened, the more he thought that people should be able to worship any way they want to. And until, as the Low Countries rose in revolution, William, a lifelong good Catholic, took up their cause and became the leader. So he's the revolutionary leader. He's a nobleman leading the Protestants. And so all across Europe, they hear that William of Orange is the leader of the Protestants. And so orange becomes the color of the Protestants. Because here we've got this color just came into Europe, we're talking late 1500s, 1580, 1590, when the Low Countries are in full rebellion. William is their military leader, and everybody's associating orange with Protestants. That's why orange is on the flag of Ireland, why there was an orange free state in South Africa for a long time. We're saying orange the color. So now I'll roll back and say, about 1600, this is an 80 years war for independence. It started about 1580. They fought, and then they didn't fight, and then they fought some more, and eventually Spain gave up and let the Low Countries be free. In the middle of this, carrot breeders in Holland are making a better carrot. Funny they should choose orange for the color of their carrot. And maybe they didn't mean anything by it. Maybe there was no political statement on carrots at all. But that's not how Europe looked at it. For the next 100 years, eating carrots was a political statement. Good Catholics would not eat carrots. Good Protestants certainly would. So I bring you to the 21st century, where orange means the Broncos. And I remind you that there have been other political statements that you can make wearing or using orange in the past.
Thank you, Kathy.
I'm Kathy Keeler, traveling the world far and wide to find great plant stories and to bring them back to you, because I am a wandering botanist.